Hello everyone. Today we will be talking about a new chapter which is called as Hikka and Shwasa Chikitsa. So this is the 17th chapter in Chikitsa Sthana of Charaka, and this chapter is being continued from Pandaroga Dhyaya and will be continued as Kasa Chikitsa Dhyaya. So we will be discussing about the Nidana, Lakshana and Purarupa in this video, and the later concepts will be discussed in the further videos which will be scheduled ahead. So to begin with, let's talk about the introduction of Hikka and Shwasa. Hikka in general terms we know it is hiccups, and Shwasa in general terms we can take it as dyspnea or shortness of breath. Some people correlate it to that of asthma. It may be caused due to the Pandaroga with the pathological signs of anemia, Alparaktada, and abnormal fat metabolism or Alpamedasada, and depletion of the body constituents, which is called as Dhatushaya. This has been told by Chakrapani in this starting of this chapter, and this is why the chapter follows after the Pandajitsa. So this sentence means that Hikka and Shwasa may be a continuation of Pandajitsa, or the people who are affected with Pandu may get also affected with uh, Hikka and Shwasa, or Hikka and Shwasa may be following the Panda Chikitsa. So that is why this disease is being kept soon after the explanation of Pandu. And the next topic what we have to understand over here is that why this topic of Hikka and Shwasa has told in a single chapter, why it is been not described in different chapters. To explain that, Chakrapani says that they both have common etiological factors, or the karanas or the hetus of both the diseases are same, just like Raja, Dhuma, etc. And the location of it is also same. The sthana in which this both the diseases are getting originated is also same, which is the Ura Pradesha, and the treatment or the mulas of this is also same. The base from which the diseases occur and the treatment protocol are almost very much similar to these two diseases. Hence, both the conditions are described in the same chapter, because rather than mentioning it in two different chapters, having almost all protocols same, it is better to mention in a single chapter. So acharyas have put both these diseases as a single disease, but remember that these are two different diseases having etiological factors, sthana, treatment, and mula as the same. Okay, so this is talking about Hikka and Shwasa. So let's start with the Nidana of Hikka and Shwasa. Nidana of Hikka and Shwasa can be divided into subheadings. Like we can have the Nidanas like the environmental factors, which are the environmental factors that cause the disease, the regimes or our usual routine activities which can cause it, the diets or the food intake what can cause Hikka and Shwasa, other conditions like other diseases which can cause Hikka and Shwasa, again once again along with this like other diets which can cause Hikka and Shwasa, upagatas or shatas which can cause Hikka and Shwasa, and other reasons which can cause Hikka and Shwasa. These are the subheadings in which all the Nidanas can be put up. So to start with the etiological factors which can cause Hikka and Shwasa, usually it is seen in people who are too much exposure to dust, dhuma, then smoke or wind, or those who are residing in cold places like in very cold temperature is present, or use of excessive cold water for drinking and other purposes. These people are commonly found to have formation of this Hikka and Shwasa. Other than that, if you talk about the Vihara like very less Vyayama or Gramya Dharma Sevana, or excessive indulgence in sexual activities or excessive walking, etc., can lead to the formation of Hikka and Shwasa. And in the diet, generally, the people who take dry foods or Vishamasana, I hope you know that it's excessively or less quantity or regular timing of food is called as Vishamasana, can be considered as a reason for manifestation of Hikka and Shwasa. And in disease conditions, diseases like ama, anaha, rukshata, excessive dryness in the body, excessive apatarpana, weakness, injury to marma, rapid change in the exposure to heat and cold. That means taking heat immediately after that taking cold. Just like after having a hot meal you are taking ice cream, or after cold food intake you are taking anything hot. And conditions like diarrhea, fever, vomiting, rhinitis, then Kshata, Kshaya, Raktapitta, Udavarta, Visuchika, Alasaka, Pandu, and Visha can also lead to the manifestation of Hika and Shwasa. So this Visha is another main important thing. If you have exposed to any kind of toxicity, that will exhibit the symptoms of Hika and Shwasa in the patient. Okay. So these form other conditions which can manifest or which can be formed as a Nidarnarthaka Vyadhi for Hika and Shwasa. Other than that exclusive diet, what we can consider in Hika and manifestation of Hika and Shwasa is that regular intake of Nishpanna, Masha, Pinyaka, Tila, Taila, Pishta, Shaloka, Vishtambi Anna, Vidahi, heavy foods or Guru Ahara, aquatic foods or marshy animals, Anubhav Mamsa, curds, raw milk, bishanti, and other foods which aggregate the kapha. If you are having a usual intake of these things, that can lead to the manifestation of Hika and Shwasa. And at last, the injuries or the abhigatas, which is exclusively cause for marmas, has been mentioned. But if at all there is an injury to throat and chest, then that can also cause Hika and Shwasa. And other than all these things, if there is vibandhata or obstructions, that can different types of vibandha is there in especially in the pranavayu etc. That can also cause Hika and Shwasa Vyadhi. So these forms of nidanas categorized into environmental factors, viharas, ahara, vyadhi, other aharas, and injuries or abhigata. So these six forms the, and this is just another add-on to it because this is not considered as a main nidana because this is caused by all these conditions like ahara viharas are leading to vibhanta. So some people take it as an exclusive nidana or else it is an add-on nidana to it. So these are the six nidanas what can lead to the manifestation of Hika and Shwasa. Now let's see how this is performing in the disease in the Samprapti slides. As you know that because of most of the nidana, Maruta is getting aggravated. So Marudam Prana Mahinam Srodamshi Avashayam Kupyanti. So this will enter into the Pranavaha Srotas and lead to the open of it or lead to the vitiation of Pranavaha Srotas, which in turn lead to Urahas Tataha Kafam Urdhasya Hikka Shwasan Karoti Saha, which will lead to the vitiation of Kapha and it will get into the Murdhavastha or it will get in the aggravated form. Urahastata Kapha will be getting aggravated and that will form the disease of Hikka and Shwasa. Ghoran Pranoparodha Praninam Pancha Panchaha. So this is a Ghora Vyadhi which is a very severe Vyadhi. Prano Uparodha, it obstructs the Pranavayu and Praninam Pancha Panchaha. This is found in human beings which is of five kinds, means both Hikka and Shwasa is of 5 different kinds. Okay, in graphical representation you can see that Vata is getting aggravated. This aggravated Vata, because of all the nidanas what we had talked in earlier, will enter into the Pranavaha Srotas and will vitiate over here. And this Vayu, once it enters in the Pranavaha Srotas, it will dearranges the Kapha which is present in the chest region or Ura Pradesha. And when this Kapha dearranges and reaches the chest region, is in trouble, and this lead to the manifestation of 5 types of Hikka and 5 types of Shwasa. I hope I understood the Samprapti of Hikka and Shwasa. This is a very simple Samprapti. Only understand that there are 2 doshas involved, Vata and Kapha, and there is a one Srotas involved, that is Pranavaha Srotas, and here they are talking about the Pranoparodha, which is the Uchvasa and Nichvasa of Pranavayu. Okay, so this is the explanation of Samprapti of Hikka and Shwasa. Now we will also see the Purarupas what are available in Hikka and Shwasas. Bhayo Pururupani Srunuhu Vakshyam Amayam Param. We are going to talk about the Ubhaya or four types of Hikkanshwasas. Pururupani, we'll just go through it. Kanda Uraso Gurutvam cha Vadanasya Kashayata Hikkana Pururupani Kukshar Atopamevacham. So first we will be talking about the Purarupa of Hikka. So in Purarupa of Hikka, we will be seeing that there is a Kanda Ura Gurutvam. There will be heaviness in the Kanda and Ura Pradesha. And Vadanasya Kashayada, there will be pungent or astringent taste in the oral cavity or in the perception of taste will be Kashaya in nature. And Cookshare Atopa, there will be Atopa and distension of the abdomen. So these three will be forming the Purarupa of Hikka Vyadhi. Okay, and this represents that a forthcoming Hikka Vyadhi is going to be manifested. In the same way, if we see the Purarupa of Shwasa, Anaha, Varshashula, Pidanam Hridayasya cha Pranasya cha Vilomitva Shwasanam Purarupa Lakshanam. So the Purarupa Lakshana of Shwasa will form under three conditions, which is Anaha or distension of abdomen or gas-filled abdomen. Parshashula will be pain in the flank region, and Pidanam Hridayasya cha, there will be disturbance or discomfort in the Hridaya Pradesha, and Pranasya Vilomitva, there will be vilomana or discomfort in the or depletion of the prana or in the prana vayu or whatever it is, it will be having vilomatva. These will indicate the Purarupas of Shwasa Lakshana. Okay, so I hope you understood what are the Nidhanas, what are the Samprapti, and what are the Purarupas of Hikka and Shwasa. With this, I will conclude my talk for now. We will meet again in the Chikitsa Sutra of Hikka and Shwasa very soon. Thank you very much.